Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions, UGR TV. We literally in the water, y'all. Today, in the middle of New York City. Red and Blue Pill, they got a lecture coming up. I'm gonna let them explain that to you. But obviously, by the background that y'all see, we're gonna be talking about health, wellness, programming your future, living happy, being happy, pursuit of happiness, things of that nature. I'm gonna let them start. I don't even want to start off with a question. I know y'all just came back from Atlanta, so I want to just allow y'all to elaborate on just how y'all feel coming from the trip in Atlanta and what do y'all expect in the future and, just all of that good stuff. Go ahead.
Peace to you and yours, Twin Pillars, reporting live and direct from the concrete jungles of New York City.
Hold on. From the tropics of Harlem.
From the tropics of Harlem.
Hold on. From the tropics of Harlem, from the waterfalls of Harlem, for all you Travel Channel junkies and whatnot, y'all like going around the world with Anthony Bourdain and Zimmerman, but you didn't even know that they had waterfalls in Harlem, family. We on our spotlight right now. We in the tropics of Harlem. We in the water. So love and light to the family. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about, some beautiful things to convey to the family today. So yeah.
Absolutely. We just returned from Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to the ATL family. Atlanta was a converging point for all points south. You know what I'm saying? Our southern family coming from Alabama, from Tennessee, coming from the Carolinas, coming from Florida. You know what I'm saying? That dirty water in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the NO, coming from the swamp, coming from the D-town. All points converge in the A. You feel me? So shout out to the Atlanta family. Shout out to Amon Ra Squad. Shout out to House of Consciousness. New Covenant was in the building. Mama Pill, Black Power Cartel, BPC, KT the Arc Degree. Everybody was in the building. It was nothing but love. Shout out to Ngozi. Shout out to Brother Jonathan. Shout out to Minister Inky. Shout out to Sadnetta, of course. Yeah, Professor Grip, the legend. Shout out to Sutek, shout out to Ankh, shout out to Brother Cavario, shout out to my brother Amir Bey. We went to Bankhead on Sunday. We did a peace rally with the Gangster Disciples out there and the other family. Yeah, the NOI. Everybody was in the building. It was all love. But most importantly, what that weekend showed me, we're staying in a 4-star hotel and we had, all amenities and what have you. And we had went to an adjacent gym, and in that gym, they had a, they had the spa in the gym. You feel me? So we did the dry sauna, the wet sauna. We did the all saltwater swimming pool. You feel me? Everything. We did the jacuzzi. And what I walked out of there feeling was euphoric. You know what I'm saying? I had a level of happiness that I hadn't had in a minute. It was able to release the stress out of my body, open up my pores. I pretty much this summer had got back into fitness and embraced that gym lifestyle, but I was missing the main component, which was the relaxation afterwards. And I don't mean that, the rejuvenation, that's not meaning that anybody is handing in their card in terms of what we're doing in terms of, banging on the system and bringing the information, but you have to be able to relax. What are we doing this for? Are we doing this to improve our lives, or are we doing it to shorten our lives? You feel me? I want to make sure that my life, I'm getting the best possible results. As I approach my 40th, I'm preparing myself for a new chapter. So that's the message that we want to bring to the family, to enjoy life, the pursuit of happiness. We can achieve anything from a state of happiness. A state of stress and distress, you're not going to be, you're not going to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You're going to bring in the wrong energy. You're going to, materialize the wrong results in your life. You feel me? And I think that a lot of what we see, because it's about taking responsibility, a lot of what we see are manifestations of, paradigms that we bought into. I'm not from that walk where we're victims. I don't believe in victimhood. You know what I'm saying? I believe in bossing up and taking control and taking command of our own reality. Peace.
I'm concurring with my brother with everything that he said. You know, my studies have shown me that this whole pursuit, this you know, spiritual beings having this human experience, the magic in the experience is the feeling. The feeling is what creates the situation. Everything is about feeling. Everything is about your frequency and what level of vibration that you're on. You understand what I'm saying? That is exemplified by the experience. If there's a negative experience and you are becoming a victim of that experience, if you allow that experience to change your frequencies, your vibrations, your energy levels and things of that nature, close down your chakras, then the experience that will result from that will tend to be one that is very negative. Your surroundings will reflect that negative mind state that you encompass. Okay? So, we're here to say that negativity and low vibrations have no jurisdiction over us. We're here to say now that we are embracing our greatness. We are embracing the fact that collectively we are more powerful than we are in a separate sense. The Voltron theory that I've been bringing to all of the platforms that I've been speaking on over the past few years. The fact that we are more powerful as a unit, as a community, as a network, in all things than we are when it's just one of us on the stage, or one of us in front of the people, or one of us in front of the camera, individual talking about me, 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 me. Not giving credit to the collective, not giving credit to your family, not giving credit to the shoulders that you stand for, not giving credit to the ones who came before you, the Dr. Benz, Dr. Clarks, Dr. Sabies. You know what I'm saying? We're standing in front of this waterfall. This is something we experienced when we were 8 years old in St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, with our beloved master teacher, Dr. Sabi. Okay? Swimming in lakes like this to take our baths. You know, bathing in waterfalls. This is the tropics. This is a tropical mind state. This is the life that we come from. You know what I'm saying? So when we converge in Atlanta this weekend, my visions, because you have to have a vision, you have to have an imagination, especially if you're out here teaching the people. The vision that I've had, I was able to see it manifest in real time. Sarah Suit and Seti, brother Sinetta, Amin Rosqua, KTL, all of the family from the South that came through. It was a very beautiful thing.
I want to ask y'all about, you know, you mentioned feelings, and I want to ask you about waiting for something to happen to you externally to be happy versus just being happy just cause. Some people in the field of, you know, like the Neville Goddards of the world and the Reverend Ikes and the, you know, even Minister Jew, when I speak with Minister Jew. Yeah, shout out to Minister Jew. They feel as though you shouldn't have to wait for something external to happen to feel joy. And I think the majority of black people, we have to wait for an event to happen, because if you just happy to be happy, like you ever seen a dude on a train, sometimes people feel like, man, what the fuck this nigga smiling for, man? It's 7 in the morning, smiling ass nigga, man. I just got it, what the fuck, it's too early to be smiling, nigga. So, talk about being happy just to be happy versus waiting for something external to happen to be happy, and the different results that each could bring.
Well, before I went to Atlanta, I spent 2 weeks in Houston with my daughter, Wisdom Bella. She just turned 2 on September 4th. You know, my heart, my life. The amount of joy that I'm able to receive when I'm in the company of my children is something that I can't say in words. I haven't found the language nor the words yet to express the level of joy and enthusiasm that I have when I just look in their eyes. I have 2 children. I want to have 10 because of what I know. Because I know that that's the true treasure in life. It is your procreation. You know what I'm saying? It's when you procreate yourself, when God recreates itself or himself or herself. But it's something that takes 2. And we've identified through the use of science that it's a male and a female. There's no other way around that. Facts. So, joy is, you know, coming from within. That's called love. That's dealing with the weight of one's heart. That is the purpose of why we are here. The end of our journey, at the end of our journey, at the end of our cycle, or the end of our incarnation in these physical husks, this body, this spacesuit, this avatar, my heart will be weighed against a feather. And my experiences in life will determine the weight of my heart, whether I held on to those experiences in a negative manner, or if I let and forgive and let certain things go and lighten my heart. So that joy has to come from within. That love that emanates from your heart, which was shown through science, emanates more of a EKG electronic field than the mind or the brain, for that matter. It emanates rays. It emanates rays that are not restricted by the physical borders of the earth.
No. Right. And a fraction of a second, they said it is able to emanate, I think, out towards what's that particular star system that people be talking about? Sirius? Not Sirius, Pleiades, the Pleiades. Yeah. So we're talking about in fractions of a second, that energy is able to emanate that far. If you understand how long they say light takes to travel, make a comparison. You know what I'm saying? Make a comparison to thought versus light. Make a comparison about heart energy, you know what I'm saying, versus these other energies that they talk about are so preeminent and so dominant in our reality. You know, the things that are, you know, you got to get this type of energy to make change. You got to know it's about the heart. You know what I mean? So me personally speaking, yeah, I was dealing with issues before I went to Atlanta, and those issues were creating like a lot of pain in my body. I suffered an injury before I went, you know, so I wasn't even in the gym. I saw a lot of the gains that I was making during the summer in themselves, you know what I'm saying? So I was all in my mind. I was going through things. You feel me? It was a lot of things swirling in my head. And being able to be in that environment, in an open environment, you know, I'm mainly, and I spoke about this before and I'm going to continue to speak about this. A lot of things that we're dealing with that people are directly related to our environment. You know what I'm saying? The geomancy on those environments, the closed aspect, the cold calculating, you know what I'm saying, things that come with living in the city. You feel me? The disconnect from nature. You know, people being stacked on top of one another. Not being able to access fresh water. Not being in it. Not smelling it. Not tasting it. Not knowing what it's about. You feel me?
Not feeling the sun and surrounded by photosynthesis.
Yeah. Not being amongst trees. Not honoring nature. You know what I'm saying? Not waking up every day and doing your best to have that symbiotic relationship with all things that are natural. You feel me? And these are still things that I struggle with based on my city dwellings. But when I'm south or when I'm out west, I'm a different person, and I recognize that. You feel me? And I want to be consistent with who I am in all of my walks. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be relegated to just one environment. So I have to always carry those memories. I have to carry that experience. I have to carry that feeling. I have to catalog that feeling inside of me. And the memories will always help me get back to that place. But I also have to be practically inside of that energy as well. So that's why, you know, we're reporting live and direct. You feel me? From this vast body of water. We water signs. This is what we do natural. So, yeah, we home, man. It's a beautiful feeling.
Ask y'all, you know, we dealing with health, wellness. One thing that's extremely important, you know, Red Pill, the brother has 2 children. He dealt with the aspect of one of the most beautiful things in life is to recreate yourself. I want to talk about healthy relationships real quick. And this is something brothers and sisters can relate to in terms of, you know, everybody, we're in this information age and everybody's getting knowledge of self right now. So the first thing a brother or sister do, they want to find a person that's into the knowledge. But there's a lot of complaints that, damn, I met this sister that was into the knowledge and she was still a piece of shit. Or I met this brother, he could break down a lot of things. He was into health, he was into this, but he was still a piece of shit at the end of the day. So what I find, the advice that I usually give people, and I want y'all to elaborate on this, something that helped me in reference to my relationship. I've been in a relationship for 10 years with my girl, is that when I visualized to manifest her, I wanted somebody with a good heart. I didn't want somebody that knew about the Illuminati. I didn't particularly want somebody that knew about health and knew about neuropeptides that could break things down. I didn't want a girl that was super deep. I just wanted a girl that had an open heart. And if she had an open heart, then she would be open to the information, because the information is love at the end of the day. So open heart equals love. So could you talk about finding somebody with a good heart versus finding somebody who's a good Christian or in the Kemet? Oh, he's in the Kemet or she's in the Kemet, so she's going to be a good person. Explain the difference between a good heart and an amazing intellectual being.
Wow, powerful question. Going back to what I said initially a few minutes ago, that your experience, your underlying goal in this physical experience as a spiritual being is to do or to experience any situations that will help enhance, enlighten, and nurture your heart. So let's go back. How many people can recall or remember the feeling of euphoria that envelopes your body when you're in love? Do you remember the moment or maybe the night or the day after meeting that one, the one who you know is going to assist your heart in unfolding? The opening of the heart, the lotus flower. Do you know that feeling? Do you know the kind of motivation that begins to kick into your being when you found that one who complements the missing half? Amazing. Okay, we're twins. We are one egg split in half, having different experiences on this earthly plane, but we are still one. Right? I don't know, I don't know what I would be able to do without my brother, because that is part of me. A very interesting phenomenon that takes place on this planet. But when we're dealing with the opposites, but I don't want to say opposite in the sense that opposite like a negative, but we're dealing with a level of polarity, the laws that govern this existence, this planet or this plane of existence, the duality would be male and female. So there's the same concept that I shared about one egg splitting in two. We're talking about one expression or a God principle splitting in two and reincarnating on this physical plane in the form of a male and a female. So when you meet your other half that complements that missing half,
they call that twin flames. Right. They call that twin flames.
All right. There's your wholeness. There's your one that's returning back to the one. I can't live without my wife. I can't live without my better half. I can't live without my other half. You feel me?
Right.
There's a level of divinity in that. That's divine. Some people take their whole lifetime to experience that. Some are more lucky and they get it right out the gate. And then they continue to meet different people who help enhance the heart.
Right. And some people meet other people that may remind them of that experience. Mm-hmm. And then that might not necessarily be the totality of what they're looking for. And they might even end up squandering that opportunity to look for something else. Or they might be on to something. So it's an endless journey. It's unfolding like everything else in life. It unfolds, you know what I'm saying? And the more that you begin to know yourself and you send these beacon signals out, the more that you're able to pull in that other part of you that you need to complete you. But we still have work to do on self. Me personally, I know that I still have work to do on self. I haven't brought any children into this world for that specific reason. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not shy about that. I don't feel any way. I feel, if anything else, is being responsible, because as an observer, I watch what's going on around me, and I don't like what I see. You know what I'm saying? I want to be with the woman of my dreams for the totality of my relationship. You know what I'm saying? I have to be able to see somebody that I'm with at the age of 70 and 80 years old. You know, we got to be able to be on that rocket chair on that porch together. We got to be able to, you know what I'm saying? She got to be able to be, I got to be able to look over and see her riding shotgun. These are things that need to be firm and affixed in the mind in order for your love to be anchored, where you're able to be the necessary mate that she needs to be, where the games won't be involved, because we're still coming into this quote-unquote consciousness with a lot of our old programs. And those, the nigga chips, and those programs are reinforced daily by our environment, our society. You feel me? We see the players and all of that in our society being rewarded. You feel me? We see the brothers with multiple relationships and, you know, all of these ways of doing things and getting away with them. We see that being applauded in society. You know what I'm saying? We see females are actually more interested with that than the brother that's 100% dedicated. They call that a square in society. You feel me? So society is reinforcing this whole aspect of, you know, not being responsible in love. You know, society does not promote love as it has been taught in our reality. Their love is, you know, go to De Beers and buy a ring, set a date, you know what I'm saying, and send the invites out and get you a 5-tier cake. You know, that's their idea of love. The contractual aspects, the Roman antics, you know, romance and things of that nature that culminates in marriage and what have you. So there are many people in the community that are experiencing things that they probably didn't expect. And I think that because of nothing else, the quote-unquote conscious community has just been about the accumulation of information. You know what I'm saying? So I can buy 500 books and stack them high. You don't know how many of them books I read. You don't know if I read them to beginning to end. You don't know if I read them and reread them. You don't know if I understand what I read. You don't know if what I read had anything to do with actually changing who I am. You know what I'm saying? And if there's no evidence that I was actually looking to learn these things to actually apply it to something, for it to be applicable information that I'm going to change into wisdom and apply it, then what good is the information? So it's just smart niggas roaming around. You feel me? It's just women that have access to all of these ancient aspects of the spells and the information, and they can read this and read that. But is the soul fully cultivated? You know? Do they fully know who they are? You know? Do they fully know what they want out of this experience? And are they real enough with themselves to acquiesce when a brother tells them, look, I'm good. You feel me? You know, I don't want all of what you want. So a lot of people think because they're on this path, when they meet somebody and they click or connect and there's something about that person that they like, that they in love. You feel me? And because it's so hard to actually meet somebody on this path the same way, they don't want to let go. You feel me? And brothers might still be running through this thing just looking for enjoyment out of it, and then women are confusing that with love, and then it's all falling apart.
And let's also keep in mind that a lot of people are sapiosexuals, meaning that they're attracted to intellect and they're attracted to knowledge. They're attracted to information. But yeah, they fall in love with information and the person that's disseminating information. Let's be clear. That's not necessarily, you know, what everybody that's out there looking for true love, you know, you may confuse that with true love. You may confuse lust with love. You know what I mean? There are some gorgeous, beautiful, I'm talking about, man, you know, designed by the highest of creators out there. You know, designed by, you know, put together by Imhotep. Ptah himself done molded her. You know, you got statues on the run from the natural history from the Metropolitan Museum in these streets. You know, we got APBs on some statues out there. They out there. But do they complement your heart? Or do they complement what it is that you need to heal your heart? Many of us are broken from previous relationships and from being in this nigga world and being in crack wars and being in nigga wars. And hip hop. And the effects that had on our psyche. And the 80s babies, we going through shock and trauma still, post-traumatic crack syndrome and all of that.
Good point. So, a lot of us, right, are being very expressive from our hurt body. You know what I'm saying? Those aspects have not been dealt with. A lot of niggas got mommy issues still. A lot of females got daddy